this is Craig Rice with the second edition of the Rice Report, coming to you from my office, your office here in Annapolis. I wanted to update you as to what's going on this week. I actually have two bills that I'll be presenting on Wednesday, and both of them are very important to me. The first is our Developmental Disabilities waiting list bill. And this bill basically mandates a governor's appropriation for fully funding the DDA waiting list equity fund up to at least 90% of the people that are eligible for services. This is a huge bill. We heard last week from a lot of people that were affected by the Developmental Disabilities waiting list when it came to testimony on the alcohol tax and the funding for developmental disabilities. What this bill does is it actually takes it one step further. It says that the governor must mandate at least 90% of the waiting list equity funds to the waiting list equity fund, which is huge. This is a tremendous step for us as a state, and I think that it's something that's tremendous because it truly costs the state nothing. When you look at a fiscal note perspective, we're not looking at any additional funding that's coming as far as expanding our budget. However, what it does do is it mandates that the governor appropriate the right amount of funds to the DDA waiting list to make sure that our most vulnerable citizens are protected and that they get the most basic services needed. And this is something that to me makes the utmost of sense. A number of people have said that they don't think the bill will pass because it mandates to the governor and it ties his hands. But I think that this is something that the governor definitely would rally behind, in that I know that he wants to protect our most vulnerable citizens, as we in the legislature do. The other bill that I wanted to talk to you about today is dealing with campaign finance, and it deals with transparency. And this campaign finance bill basically says that for anyone that contributes $200 or more to any campaign, needs to disclose not only their occupation but their employer. We saw most recently a couple weeks ago that the Supreme Court came down with a ruling that basically opened up corporations to funnel money into campaigns that is basically unlimited. And while we certainly respect the decision of the Supreme Court, we need to make sure that we're doing the most we can as a state to ensure that those donations aren't unfairly appropriated in certain races. And so from this perspective, what it does is it just gives us a level of transparency and understanding where our donations are coming from. Certainly by no means is anyone that contributes as a part of a company to be worried about this, but what it does do is it gives us the ability to track certain instances in which large corporations have encouraged all of their members to contribute to campaigns without contributing themselves, which leads to that lack of transparency. So I think that this is an important bill. Those are two important bills that I'm working on this week, and just as last week when we talked about the Safe Schools Act, we also talked about the anti-bullying in private schools. We've made significant progress, and I think that I hope that those bills will receive favorable reports in the next upcoming weeks, as with the bills that I have coming up this Wednesday. I always welcome your comments and any ideas that you have about future legislation. So please feel free to contact me in my office, your office here in Annapolis, at 301-858-3090, or you can always reach us at craig.rice@house.state.md.us. Thanks so much, and take care.